friends, it's Violet here with Murder, Mystery, and Masterpiece. As a reminder, always remember to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, whatever, anything helps. So don't forget to do that before you leave the video today. Go ahead and do it now so you don't forget, okay? I'll wait. All right, good. Okay, so let's get started. First off, I want to tell you guys that I usually put out a poll on my Facebook page asking which painting I should do. I usually give you guys a choice. This week was a dead tie, so I'm just going to choose. Okay? So I hope you guys like it. Today's story is more of a ghost story that I found interesting and slightly disturbing. Just south of Mexico City, there is a deserted island that is home to over 1,500 decaying, creepy dolls. Yes, dolls. It's not like the Island of Misfit Toys. It's more like Chucky's Nightmare. So let's start at the beginning. In 1950, there was a man named Julian Santana Barrera. And he was very interested in preaching the gospel to his neighbors. Now, Julian lived in a town south of Mexico City, and I'm going to butcher this name, so I'm sorry. I even looked up Google how to say it 15 times. It never works. Okay, so I'm going to read out the phonetic pronunciation. Xochimilco. That's where he lived. And like I said, he was very interested in spreading the gospel. Now, back at this point, that was not something that his neighbors were interested in. They believed that the common man could not spread the gospel. It was really only for priests to do. So this caused his neighbors to get very annoyed with him. And at some point, they actually became very, very violent with him. And this caused him to really withdraw, and he decided that he needed to go into isolation. He decides that he needs to leave his wife and son and go live on a lake onto Shulo Lake. So he just leaves his wife and son back in 1950 and goes to live on an island in the middle of a lake, to Shulo Lake, by himself. Now that the background's dry, sorry I had to speed that up so I could pay attention. So we talked about Julian. He has moved to this island. It's actually really more of a peninsula, and there are two canals that you can take to get to it. Now, it's really hard to get to by land, so it's called an island, because for all our purposes, it's an island, okay? Now, Julian spent his days growing produce. He grew a lot of produce that he would actually sell to the locals on the other islands and in the canals. So he was a farmer on this island, and he was known to walk along the shores of the island, just walking. I guess after he finished farming, he didn't really have much else to do because he didn't have a wife and child because he left them. So Julian would walk the shores. Well, one day, Julian was walking the shores and found the body of a little girl floating in the mouth of one of the canals. He tried to rescue her. He got her out of the water and tried to, I guess, give her CPR, but I don't think CPR existed back then, but he tried to revive her. So he tried to revive her. It didn't work, and the little girl was already dead, floating in the water. She had drowned, and he had found her body. So this was said to have greatly affected Julian. He was so just distraught that he couldn't save this little girl and that he hadn't found her in time. Which really, I mean, there was really nothing he can do, but can't tell Julian that. So Julian goes back to his home. He is distraught. His family that would come and visit him, they just knew that he was different from then on out. And Julian would still do his routine of walking around the island. Well, one day, not long after he found the little girl, he was walking down near the canal where he found her. And Julian found a doll floating in the water. So Julian brings the doll, he picks up the doll out of the water and brings it back to his home. This is when things took a turn for the worse. Julian begins to hear the little girl. He hears her whispering to him, and he is convinced that her spirit is uneased, and so he needs to do something. So he's praying, he's lighting candles, he's doing whatever he can to try to appease this little girl's spirit. Nothing is working. Julian is hearing her all the time, all around the entire island. So what can he do? I mean, he's tried everything that he knows to do. So Julian still has the doll that he now believes was her doll, the little girl's doll. He has the doll that he found in the water where she was found. So he takes the doll and he strings it up outside on a tree to appease the spirit of the little girl. And I will insert a picture of the doll. It's the oldest doll on the island. It's very creepy. Yeah. That's the doll he had found in the water. And so for some time, he said that the little girl's voice was quiet and he had appeased her spirit. So Julian was like, yes, the doll worked. You know, that she just wanted her doll back. So he had given her her doll back. That was loud, sorry. So Julian still lives on this island. There's, the ghost girl is not talking to him anymore. There's a creepy doll hanging outside his home. Life is good, right? No. So Julian not only starts to hear the little girl again, he starts to hear lots of noises, lots of what he said were uneasy spirits. So Julian starts to scrounge the canals where he found the original doll and, of course, the little girl to try to find more dolls. And he finds more dolls floating in the canals. So, sidebar here, why are there so many dolls floating in the canals? Like, isn't that a weird thing to float in the canals? I mean, maybe garbage, maybe like a dead fish, but a little girl's doll, like, why are there so many? I don't know why, that just poked up in my head a lot. So whenever Julian had found all of the dolls he could in the canals, because, he's found all the floating dead dolls, he starts to go and look in his neighbor's trash. And he is just scrounging around, trying to find any dolls that he can. And any dolls that he finds, he brings them back. And he just hangs them up wherever he can, and he uses rope, he uses wire, he uses whatever he can to get these dolls hung up around the island. And, it's no longer just near his home where the original doll was. Like, it's taken up the whole island now. He's doing it along the bank, so anybody who's passing by his island can see this. So there's lots of dolls being hung up, right? Now, remember I said that Julian he grew a lot of produce, and whenever he couldn't find dolls anymore, he would actually trade his produce to his neighbors for some dolls. So if they had an old doll, they would just give to Julian in exchange for some produce. So this dude pretty much made creepy old dolls a currency on his island. Ugh. And so, of course, he puts up these dolls to try to appease this little girl's spirit that died. Well, guess what, folks? Julian starts to believe that these dolls are now possessed by the spirits of other dead little girls. Why do you keep putting up dolls? If they're just possessed by these spirits, I don't understand why he kept putting up dolls. Guys, help me out. let that dry for just a second because I need to do some more things to it, all right? By the year 2000, Julian had put up over 1,000 dolls. 1,000. And we're not talking just little small dolls. We're talking big dolls. So I'm going to put up some pictures. Yep. Keep looking. You will notice that they're not in a great state. The eyes will be missing. They'll be missing arms, legs, a head. Julian wasn't really picky about what type of dolls he had. He could just put up any dolls and then they would be possessed by the spirits of little girls. I mean, who wouldn't want that? No, Julian, no. I don't understand, again, why he would have tons. He would just keep adding the dolls. I don't know. Someone help me out with this. Post a comment below. Now, the locals all said that Julian was very friendly. They traded with him to get the produce, in exchange for the dolls. But the locals would not step foot on the island. They had these little gondolas that would go by because remember, we're on canals and this is how they get around. And it said that the people driving the gondolas do not look at the island because they believe that if you look into one of the doll's eyes, the spirit that possesses the doll can possess you. I don't think I'd take a chance. I wouldn't look at a doll. Would you look at a doll? No, thank you. Now that I've caught up a little bit, here comes the creepiest part about this. In 2001, Julian's body was found in the same place that he had found the little girl's body. And it wasn't like he committed suicide there. He had a heart attack and then drowned in the same place that he found the little girl's body. I was like, oh, okay, that's a little much, right? That's a little much. So now, of course, the locals believe that Julian's spirit possesses the island. So now we've added another spirit there. So, and if we fast forward to today, then Julian's son, the one that he abandoned, now is the caretaker for the island. I don't believe he lives there, but he's the caretaker. And for the low price of $52, you can take a 4-hour gondola ride to go visit the island of the dolls. And I can say that in Spanish because I practice. Munecas. Isla de la Munecas. That's probably wrong. Sorry. So, Island of the Dolls. It is listed as one of the top 10 creepiest places in the world. I checked that according to several very reliable sources, like Gawker and stuff. But I hopefully you guys did see a lot of pictures. It is very creepy. Like I said, you can visit it today, but my question to you guys is, would you visit it? What about that superstition of locals who say, oh, if you look at a doll, the spirit that's in the doll possesses you? I mean, like, would you go? Would you look at a doll? And just to top it all off, they actually let you bring a doll for you to hang on the island. Yeah, that's just a little much for me, folks. I just don't know if I can do that. That's just, I don't know. Would you guys bring a doll? Would you? So anyway, I hope you guys like this story. It's a little bit different than obviously like a story about a serial killer. So this is the mystery part of the murder mystery and masterpiece. Whatever you guys want to see next time, leave a comment below. I'll be happy to do some research and look into it. You guys just let me know, okay? Now, before you leave out the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up or to comment and subscribe. And most of all, don't forget to share it with your friends. So thank you guys so much for coming along for the ride, watching the video, watching the painting. So this one is called Bright Flower. It's not as bright as I usually do it, but I don't know. I was kind of feeling these colors, so that's what I went with. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Bye.